94.9 KUOW Seattle. I'm Amanda Wilde. Dr. Jeni LeGon has spent the better part of a century on the dance floor. She developed her acrobatic style on the streets of Chicago's South Side. Her professional career began in 1930 when at the age of 14 she got her first professional job dancing with the Count Basie Orchestra. She became the first female African-American artist to sign a Hollywood movie contract and went on to make 24 films. Jeni LeGon worked with many of the greatest stars of the day, including Paul Robeson, Fats Waller, Cab Calloway, the Nicholas Brothers, and Bill Robinson. Today, Jeni LeGon is a dance instructor based in Vancouver, British Columbia. She comes to Seattle annually to participate in the Century Ballroom's Master of Dance series. Welcome, Jeni.
Thank you.
And it's your birthday today.
Yes, it is.
93.
Yes.
We think.
I think we're having trouble about my passport. It looks like a 5 or it looks like a 6, and I don't know, so I just use one or the other.
So you actually don't know exactly what year you were born?
No, I don't. Awful.
You grew up singing, dancing, acting, entertainment, and dancing and music was all around you.
Yes,
all the time growing up.
It was, because fortunately my family had these traits. My father, I understand, was a wonderful pianist, and he was natural. He didn't read, but he was, he could hear something played and he could do it. And my oldest brother could do the same thing. My sister came up with a beautiful voice. She used to sing for weddings and marriages and things like that. And then my youngest brother became a wonderful singer. And so that was music and everything in my lifetime, and I heard it all my life. And when I was a kid in school, and I used to listen to Duke Ellington, and Sunday he was coming from the Cotton Club in Harlem, and I used to do my homework to listen to his music. So music has been a part of my life since I can remember.
You were also fortunate enough to see some live bands of that time play in Chicago's theaters.
Oh, yes.
You saw Duke Ellington, didn't you? And Fletcher Henderson?
Yeah, when they came through.
And Count Basie?
Yes, I worked with Count Basie. But my first professional dancing was with the Count Basie organization. And I had been trained by a wonderful company in Chicago that was called the Whitman Sisters. They were an all-black company that they went to the South every year, and I had a chance to get with them. And that's how I really learned how to perform, because they taught you what to do.
You are known for stopping the show with your dance.
Well, what happened with me, most of my routines were really tight, but the routines that I did do happened to be well enough to be exciting and to do things that a lot of people hadn't seen a girl dancer tapping do. So that was what happened with me. I was just fortunate that I could perform and not just dance, but I could just entertain the people that I did, because I did a little singing and dancing, and I was taught how to do it.
What does it mean to stop the show?
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. You know that you have to come back and do an encore, and you realize that you weren't so bad when what you did wasn't bad, and the people liked it.
How do you know, you've got them?
Well, most of the time, when you stop a show, when you finish and you take your bows and everything, and you come up out of your bows, there's nothing. And then all of a sudden it explodes. And that's when you get that funny feeling.
What was it about your style that really stood out?
Well, because I started doing toe stands in tap shoes. And And I had taken ballet, of course, as a youngster, and I liked it, but it was not the kind of dancing that I wanted to do. I liked the jazz stuff better than the classical. And so when I started doing my own routines and learning how to do my stuff, I realized that I could do these steps that I had learned as a ballerina. So I invented something that hadn't been done before, and a lot of people did it afterwards,
And then you mentioned that you did a lot of the steps only male dancers did. So seeing that on a woman.
I did acrobatic stuff that the guys did. I could do flips and the knee drops and spins and walkovers and all that sort of business, and high kicks and all that.
And that is why Dr. Jeni LeGon is famous for wearing pants.
Yeah.
One of the few female dancers who really
did, right.
mostly wore pants. You were one of the first African Americans also to develop a career as a soloist.
Yes.
How did that happen for you?
Well, I guess it was because when I did the first show with Bill Robinson and Hooray for Love, They liked what I did.
And you got to sing in that movie, Living in a Great Big
Yes,
Way,
uh-huh.
which sort of became a theme of life for you.
Yes.
I'm the salt in the ocean.
I know that.
I'm the sun in the sky. Can move my stuff back in my room. Oh, I'm $1 million as long as I got a knife in my fingers. Love is the room in my walls. Got the devil to pay. Living in a great big way.
Jeni LeGon is here, the legendary dancer, who is visiting Seattle as part of the Century Ballroom's Master of Dance series. We had an opportunity last night to screen some bits from some of your films, and I noticed you looking up at the screen, looking back on those movies made in the 30s, 40s, television shows in the 50s and 60s and beyond. What do you think now?
Well, when I was watching them last night, I've seen them before, but I hadn't paid that much attention to the variety that was there. And I was surprised at myself because all of the acting parts were so different. It was a big surprise to me to see myself that I had that much brains to do interpretations of all the ones. And I just enjoyed. I was just happy. I had forgotten about the fact that that was what was there. And then my dancing was there too, and I danced in series, different ones I danced were entirely different, and nothing was particularly the same thing. It was quite a surprise last night. I enjoyed it, seeing myself. Yeah.
There was an amazing scene from a movie we wouldn't think of you in connection with, I Walked with a Zombie, but the scene we saw was of you dancing, and there was a lot of chanting, and I don't know what it all meant in context of the movie, but it seemed highly tribal.
Yes, it was. That was what it was. And I was taught by some people who did that kind of stuff too. Because I had taken some of that kind of work, but I didn't know that much about it. And within the cast that did the show, there was a lady there who was a dancer. I can't remember her name at the moment. And she taught me the scene that I did, the dancing that I did, she had taught it to me. But it was the real McCoy stuff from the African tribes in the West Indies and so forth, yeah.
But the early days of movie making, it's my understanding that a lot of people, directors, choreographers who didn't have the name choreographer at that time, people didn't totally know what they were doing. Film was such a new medium.
Yeah.
How much did you have to add to that, or did you mainly take direction?
Oh, mostly. See, they'd give you a script to learn, and you'd interpret the script. And I was taught more or less when I went into the Amos and Andy shows. They had this fabulous cast of people who had been acting all their lives in the early 20s. Most of the members from that organization and in the cast, and I learned from them that you learn the script. That's what you hand you a script, you learn it, and you don't come to work and not know what you're supposed to say. And if you're doing it one way and the director tells you, no, I want it done so and so and so, you don't know what you're talking about if you don't follow the director. And that was what was so wonderful about the cast on Amos and Andy. They were all professionals. We used to come to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'd have to go for makeup. And at the time it was on the Disney studio, and they were not as popular as they had been, so they had 2 or 3 different organizations shooting stuff. And we'd come to work, and we'd be through by 3 o'clock because we'd shoot, and there was no do that again, And so we caused confusion on the lot because all the other actors on the lot were doing double takes and 3 takes and 4 takes, and so we'd get through by 3 and go home. And they would have to stay for 4 or 5 and 6 o'clock in the evening, because they had to do all these other extra takes. And so we got to the point where they just hated our guts. But we used to float them because we didn't mind it. But it was fun knowing that was the reason, because these people in that particular organization, the whole cast, there was not one of them who was not a professional and could do it. And so I learned from them that this is the way you do it. You learn it, and then you go and do it for the director, and if he doesn't have any criticism, or no, I don't want you to do it that way, I want you to say so and so and so, you knew that you have done what you wanted, what's been expected of you, and that's what I was taught, and I should be working with them. Yeah.
And even as early as your first movie with Bill Robinson, Mr.
Yeah.
Bojangles, you've mentioned in several interviews that he really expected you to pay attention and learn. So are you a quick learner?
Yeah. I was an imitator when I was a kid, and I would go see things, and I'd come home and show my parents, my mom, my sister, my brothers, that I had learned something, and they would say, "Well, how did you do it?" I said, "Well, I saw it. I was there for 3 hours," and I watched them do it over and over again. Yeah.
So for you, it was natural, but to your family, it was a little surprising.
Yeah, it was.
Today, when you see hip hop as a dance style and rapping as the music form, does that relate at all to your
the past?
Yeah, to Count Basie, Duke Ellington.
It's all there.
What's the relationship?
Well, the whole thing is the music. The music makes you dance, I mean, you invent because you hear that music and it gets in your blood and you just got to do something to it.
You've received many honors, including a doctorate of performing arts and American dance from Oklahoma City University.
Yes, I did.
What does this kind of acknowledgement mean to you at this point in your career?
I have in my house 47 awards, which is overwhelming. I really don't believe it, but it's there. I can say I am not lying. And I mean, it just makes me have goose pimples. I'm just happy as I can be. I can't explain it. Really, it's just wonderful to think that the little old skinny girl from Chicago during that period was able to walk the world and get these kind of things happening to him. So I'm very happy. I'm happy to be here.
The awe-inspiring dancing legend, Jeni LeGon, is here on her 93rd birthday. She visits Seattle annually to participate in the Century Ballroom's Masters of Lindy Hop and Tap event. Jeni, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Keep living in that great big way.
I'm going to try.
For the full audio of this interview and more information, go to KUOW.org and search for Dance. From KUOW 94.9 Seattle, I'm Amanda Wilde.
Got a handful of nothing.
Why, you a rich millionaire.
But I watch it like a hawk. Well, I'm doing okay. Living in a great big way.
Tell that to the landlord.